Hello, I am CS Jaspreet. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I make videos on educational topics helpful for commerce students. Today's video is on Fayol's Principles of Management. I have already made a video on Taylor's Principles of Management. If you have not seen it yet, the link will be in the description box below. Before proceeding further, please subscribe to my channel, like the video and share with your friends, and do leave a comment. The 14 principles of management given by Henry Fayol are below. First, division of work. Second, authority and responsibility. Third, discipline. Fourth, unity of command. Fifth, unity of direction. Sixth, subordination. Seventh, remuneration. Eighth is centralization. Ninth, scalar chain. 10th, order. 11th, equity. 12th, stability of tenure of personnel. 13th, initiative. And 14th, Espirit De Corps. These are the above given 14 principles of management. Now we'll explain one by one. Do watch the video till the end to understand all the 14 principles of management given by Henry Fayol. Let's get started. Starting up with the first principle, that is division of work. Now employees are specialized in different areas and they have different skills, right? Everybody is specialized in different areas, different professionals come and join up the organization. And according to Henry Fayol, specialization promotes efficiency of the workforce and it increases productivity. If you're hiring specialized people for their fields, that will increase the efficiency of the workforce and that will increase the productivity of the organization. So as to produce more and secure better performance with better efforts, it is very important to do the division of work so that performance should be also good and efforts should also be good. Personal and professional developments support this. Now this management principle, it is applicable to both technical and managerial activities, like even at the management level and even at the worker level. At both the levels this management principle works because it's very important to divide the work according to the skills of the people, according to the talents they possess, according to their specializations, right? Then only the work could lead to some conclusion, because specialization is something that increases the efficiency of the work and that ensures the management that the work will be carried out in the best manner. So division of work is very important. The second principle is authority and responsibility. Now management has the authority to give orders to the employees. Yes, definitely management will give orders to the employees, but along with authority comes responsibility. The accompanying power or authority gives the management the right to give orders to the subordinates. The authority gives the right to give orders to the subordinate, but the responsibility can be traced back from performance and it is therefore necessary to make agreements about this. Authority says give orders and responsibility says to trace back the performance, whether the orders are being implemented properly. You have to monitor. You just don't have to go and give the orders and the work is finished. In case the work is not done properly, you will be responsible for that. The job of manager is just not to give the orders but also to trace the performance, to look up that whether the work is done in this best manner or not. And in other words, authority and responsibility go together and they are two sides of the same coin. So it's very important to understand what authority is, where authority comes, responsibility comes in the same manner, because management has to take the authority but they have to take the responsibility also to make things done in the best possible manner so that the organization also grows with its decisions. The third principle is discipline. Now the third principle is about obedience. Discipline means obedience. Discipline means to do the work in a good conduct, in a better way, in a planned way. So it is essential and seen as the oil to make the engine of an organization run smoothly. It is often a part of the core values of a mission statement and vision in the form of good conduct and respectful interaction. So for that, discipline is very important. This principle is important to ensure obedience and respect for superiors. That is why discipline comes in. That discipline leads to obedience, and what does the obedience do? It brings up the respect for superiors, and also it is a very core value of a mission statement also, and vision also, in the form of good conduct. Discipline will bring up good conduct and respectful interactions between the management and the workers. So discipline in the organization is very important. How you talk, how people communicate, how people are coming to the organization, the punctuality of the people, the manners, the etiquettes, all these things lead to a very good organization or a very bad organization. So that is why, according to Fayol, discipline plays a very important role in terms of managing the organization. The fourth principle is unity of command. Now, the management principle, unity of command, means that an individual employee should receive orders from one manager only, and the employee is answerable to that manager only. Now, any employee should receive orders from one senior only, right? It is very important. Unity means one. Right. Unity of command. Whatever the command the employee is given, that should be from one person only, from one manager only. Just imagine a person is getting commands for 3 to 4 managers. How will he report everybody and he becomes answerable to everybody? In that way, the work will also be affected and the person will also be affected, and he will leave your organization. So to make the work move efficiently and effectively, it's very important to assign the work to a person and to tell him that you will report to just one manager or you will report to your manager. That's why in today's organizations, people have teams reporting to one manager. That manager gives them orders and the employees go back and report to him. Now, if an employee is being directed by more than one manager, it leads to confusion, bilkul, which may lead to possible conflicts for employees. So it will be very important for them also to survive in such an environment, in such a organization where there is no clarity whom to report, who is giving you the orders. So, and the responsibility for mistake can be established more easily. If you're making the work done from different people, you're reporting to different managers, it will be very difficult to put on the responsibility on single person. You'll not be able to do that, and to put that responsibility, it is very important to know that one person, one manager will be reported and he is only liable to give the orders. That is why unity of command is very important, to avoid any kind of confusion, to avoid any kind of conflicts in the organization. Now, the fifth principle is unity of direction. The management principle, it's all about focus and unity. Unity again means one, and direction we all know. So there should be one direction. That means a group of activities with common objectives shall have one head and one plan. One head means one manager and one plan. Again, it has something related to unity of command. As I told you, you have to report to one person and that one person shall receive the orders from one manager only. In the same way, all activities must be carried out by one group that forms a team. As I told you earlier also, that a team should be there, a manager should be there, all the members of the team should know whom to report and who will seek our performance. Now here again, the manager is ultimately responsible for this plan and he monitors the progress of the defined and planned activities. So now the team is working and the manager is answerable to everybody. The manager will give the orders to the team and the manager will see or trace their performance and then report to the higher ones that what his team has done, and he is responsible for the progress of the defined and planned activities. Focus areas are the efforts made by the employees and coordination. So for making the work, so for running the organization in a smooth manner and efficient manner, unity of direction is very important. The sixth principle is subordination. Subordination of individual interest to general interest. Very important. Earlier, what was happening, that employees were taking up their own interests and management was taking up their own interests. That way, the organization will never flourish, never grow, because you're just stuck at one point. So subordination of individual interest to general interest means that general interest is more important than individual interest. The primary focus is on the organizational objectives and not on those of the individual. Henry Fayol indicated the personal interests are subordinate to the interests of the organization. Now, there are always all kinds of interests in the organization. Employees will want that their salaries should be increased, they should receive more incentives, more bonus. Management will say that we will take up more work from you all, you have to do overtime also, you have to work on Saturdays also, Sundays also. So every time the interests are, all types of interests are there, but the interests of the organization is above the personal interests of the employee. The interests of the organization should be the priority of the employees also, because they have to understand that if the organization will flourish, if the organization will grow, then only their personal interests will be fulfilled. What will happen if the organization is facing losses? They will also not get any salary, any wages. So they should know that if they will also keep the interest of the organization on the top, they will be also benefited. So this is what subordination tells you. The seventh principle is remuneration. Remuneration in layman's language means salary or wages. All know. This management principle argues that the remuneration should be sufficient to keep employees motivated and productive. So it's very important that remuneration should be sufficient enough to keep them motivated. If you're taking up lots of work and not giving them anything in return, definitely there will be a lot of employee turnover. So to stop that, you have to know that how much work you are taking up from the employee and how much you have to give, that should be sufficient. Motivation and productivity are close to one another as far as the smooth running of the organization. For getting the productivity out of the people, you need to motivate them. And how would you motivate them? From the remuneration. Now remuneration is also of two types. One is non-monetary, one is monetary. Non-monetary means if you're complimenting somebody, or if you're giving more responsibility to somebody, or if you're putting up the credits to somebody that yes, you are doing a very good job, you are doing very good work. So that way also the person feels motivated. I think a lot of us feel motivated when somebody compliments us or somebody appreciates the way we work. And the second kind is monetary remuneration, which can be a compensation, which can be a bonus, which can be an incentive, because ultimately people are working for money only, not for your compliments. So monetary remuneration is way more important than non-monetary remuneration, and this principle tells us that it should be as much sufficient that the employees should feel motivated and productive to stay back in your organization. The eighth principle means centralization. Now, the top management should decide the extent to which authority is to be dispersed in the organization or retained at higher levels. In simple words, centralization means to keep things at one place. It could be anything. It could be the authorities, it could be the decision making processes, it could be anything, but it's just that keeping everything to one place, keeping everything centralized. Now, here the top management has to decide that how much decisions or how much authority it has to disperse at lower levels. Centralization or decentralization should be viewed as a question of proportion, that how much should be given and where, what should be centralized and what should be decentralized. It's completely on the management. Centralization implies the concentration of decision making authority at the top management. So whatever the decisions are to be made, that have to be made by the top management, that authority should remain with the top management only, centralized with that organization, with that management only. Sharing of authorities for decision making process with lower levels, that is called decentralization. If you share the decision making process with the lower people, that is called decentralization. Centralization is beneficial, very beneficial, because it regulates how the work is going on and it controls the decision making process, leading to firm, good and better decisions. The ninth principle is scalar chain. Now, hierarchy presents itself in any given organization. Every organization has a hierarchy, which means who are at the top, who are the subordinates, the top management, the middle management, the lower management, how are they working, who will be the on the upper places, who are the subordinates, everything is defined in the hierarchy. And hierarchy states that there should be clear line in the area of authority. There shouldn't be any confusion. Each employee can contact a manager or a superior in an immediate managers or superiors. So they can contact the immediate managers or the immediate superiors. The chain of command is usually depicted on an organizational chart. It is already given on the organizational chart. The chain of command is given, that which identifies the superior and subordinate relationships in the organizational structure. Every organization has an organizational structure. It has an organizational chart which identifies who are the superiors, who are the subordinates, and what is their relationship with each other. So scalar chain in any organization is very important to avoid the confusion, to avoid the hurting of ego or self-respect of anybody, right? The employees should know whom they have to report, who are their managers, who are their bosses, and the bosses should also know who are their subordinates, from whom they're gonna collect the reports. All these things should be well defined in an organization to avoid any confusion and conflicts in future. The 10th principle of management is order. Now, this management principle tells them that employees in the organization must have the right resources at their disposal so that they can function properly in organization. Everything should be in order. That means everything should be at proper place. The employees should have right resources for at their disposal so that they can function properly. In addition to social order, what is a social order? It is the responsibilities of managers. That is very important. The work environment should be safe, clean, and tidy. Everything should be in order. There must be a place for everything, and each thing must be in its appointed place. That is only the way to work in an organization effectively and efficiently. If everything should be in proper place at its own place, then only the person will work in a proper manner. Then only the management will take care of the organization. Now, the 11th principle is equity. Management must have the desire for equity and equality of treatment while dealing with people. It's very important. The management should be just and fair. It shouldn't treat the people badly or partially. Equity, it's the combination of kindliness and justice in a manager. It should be both. He should be kind also, and he should give justice to the people also. It creates loyalty and devotion in the employees towards the organization. If the manager is kind, if he is doing justice to the people, it creates the loyalty in the people, right? The people will not ditch him, they will come back to him. And devotion in the employees towards the organization, that yes, we have to work in this organization because we have such a fair and just manager. The equity principle suggests that the managers must be kind as well as equally fair to the subordinates. There shouldn't be any favoritism, there shouldn't be any nepotism. It is very important. If you want your employees to stay back, you have to be kind, you have to be just, and you have to pay importance to what they want, how they want. Because if you want to keep them in your organization, they should also get a good work environment to work in. You cannot mentally stress the employees. So for that, treat them well, and the manager should be kind. He should give justice to the organization. Then only the organization will flourish with good management and good employees. The 12th principle is stability of tenure of personnel. Stability is a permanent thing, a thing which is not varying. Tenure means the duration, and personnel means the employees of the organization. So we need the permanence of the duration of the employees. So which, how would it say, management should strive to minimize employee turnover. Employee turnover means the rate at which the employees of your organization leave your organization. That should be very, very less. The employees should have job security, because instability leads to inefficiency. If they are feeling that we are not, our jobs are not secured enough, they will find a new job and leave your organization. Successful firms usually had a stable group of employees. Because they had a stable group of employees, the firms were successful. Actually, it should be said in this way. Although it could take time to settle their jobs, obviously everything takes time. An employee needs time to learn his job and to become efficient. The more time the employee stays back, the more will he become loyal to the organization. Just imagine you hire an employee, you train him, you put efforts to be somebody of your organization, and then he just leaves your organization and serves the other organization. You were busy training him, you trained him, you invested your time, your energy on that employee, and then he just left. That is very important. The management should try that the employee turnover should be very, very less. That can happen if they have job security, because instability leads to inefficiency. It could take time to settle the jobs, everything takes time. They need time to be efficient enough. That is why I say na, that the employers train the employees when they hire them, and they actually make them fit for the organization. Then it'll be not a good thing that they're leaving your organization, and it gives a very bad impact in the market also, that you cannot keep good employees to yourself and your organization will never flourish. So this is a very important principle of management according to Fayol, that there should be a stability of tenure of personnel to grow your organization, to flourish your organization. The 13th principle of management is initiative. Initiative means to take some decision, to take some initiative to do something. It refers to thinking out and executing a plan. Actually, initiative means this thing. Management should encourage initiative without limits of authority and discipline. All levels of staff should be encouraged to show initiative. When you give this point to the staff, when you give this right to the staff, that they can also initiate something, they can also plan something, they can also put up their opinion, that way the staff will feel more like your family. They would also participate more in the organization and perform in a better manner. Now the initiative gives satisfaction to the employees and brings success to the organization. So it is very important. This is a kind of a mental satisfaction to the employees also, and they should encourage the employees to make their own plans and to execute these plans. You have to convince the employee that they are also an important part of the organization, and they can also initiate a plan, they can also execute a plan. Then only you'll see how much they'll do for the organization. They'll work in the manner that that is their organization only, because they can make plans, they can take initiative. So it's a very good point for the growth of the organization and keeping the employees for a longer time in the organization. Now comes the 14th principle, Espirit De Corps. Espirit De Corps means team spirit, or in simple words, I would say it's a feeling of pride and mutual loyalty shared by the members of the group. Now, the management should create unity, cooperation, and team spirit among the employees. If you want to flourish the organization, if you want the people to work together, for that it's very important they should have unity, they should have the capability to cooperate with each other, and the team spirit. The principle emphasizes the need for teamwork and the importance of effective communication in obtaining it. So it emphasizes that teamwork is very important. If you want to rise, you have to be together, and the importance of effective communication in obtaining it. They should avoid dividing and rule policy. Earlier, what we used to have, divide and rule, that cannot work in an organization. Harmony among personnel is the greatest strength in the organization. Then only you can save your secrets to be leaked to the competitors also, and you can achieve the goals and objectives of the organization with a team. Everything needs teamwork, right? So the team spirit should be there in the management and the employees. The management should inculcate all these things in the employees, the unity, the cooperation, the team spirit. Then only the organization will flourish with harmony, with cooperation, with goodwill, right? So these were the 14 principles given by Henry Fayol, commonly known as Fayol's principles of management. Thank you so much for watching my video. Hit the like button, do share it with your friends, comment below, and please subscribe to my channel for upcoming videos. Stay connected.